Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Believe in best.
Coming up tonight, police investigators on the hunt for a gunman, plus Bahamian fishermen at odds over the fisheries bill, and traffic stops in Grand Bahama find out the message police had for motorists there. Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Jared Higgs. Topping news tonight, a man is detained in hospital after he was shot on Ferguson Way off Joe Farrington Road. The incident took place at 2 p.m. on Saturday when police say 3 men were on Ferguson Way when a man approached them and opened fire on them. One of the men was injured and an ambulance transported him to hospital. Police say his condition is not known at this time. Well, the president of the Bahamas Christian Council, Bishop Delton Fernando, is calling for the implementation of programs that will change the mindset of the Bahamian male hell-bent on living a life of crime. Giorgio Bain tells us more.
In order to effectively address the country's crime problem, studies must be carried out to find out why persons get involved in a life of crime, according to Christian Council President Bishop Delton Fernando.
The beginning of the transformation of the Bahamian male, the Bahamian young man, the Bahamian person who's committing these crimes as first starts with an evaluation of those who have been captured and what produces this life, what are the similar traits, and now I'm speaking to you. I'm preparing to do one to the Boys Industrial School with the partners we're looking for right now to do a full study. You cannot fight a problem you do not study.
Fernando is calling on the implementation of a year-round positive program targeting young men and women that will hopefully steer them away from getting involved in gangs. However, he says funding must first be provided.
Many times we believe that the church is just responsible for these outreaches, but to make it consistent, it can't just be on Easter and summer. We've got to have funding, and the church doesn't have a kitty that is just all encompassing. It's coming from the people.
According to Fernando, correcting these problems in society are not just the church's problem.
We're going to maintain some of the changes we need. I've been a proponent that the after-school care and the programs in our society are key. And I think we're seeing a fallout of that. That during COVID-19, these young people are not occupied in wholesome events. The planning and execution of that, it must be a national plan. It must just not be something we give lip service to. It's important.
Reporting for Our News Weekend Edition, I'm Giorgio Bain.
The aunt of a man who was recently killed wants justice for him. Stephanie Miller says her nephew, Carlisle Johnson, was an ambitious young man who was going places.
Justice for my nephew is very important. The person that did this to my nephew needs to be behind bars.
Johnson's stepfather, Kazimu Ellis, says he had a close relationship with a 20-year-old aspiring marine mechanic. He encouraged young people to listen to the advice of their elders.
It's not to know what has happened, but someone said to me, Kazi, don't look at it like that. This is a lesson for others to follow. But I would say to all the young people out there, just listen to your parents. Listen to your parents.
The Bahamian fishing sector is divided when it comes to the Fisheries Bill 2020 that seeks to ban foreign fishermen from participating in commercial fishing here in the Bahamas.
Yeah, with the Dominican bill, we really need that passed.
Stephen Simonet and his 22-member crew rejoiced when they heard government was passing a law that would ban foreign fishermen from engaging in commercial fishing.
We needed that in place maybe 20 years ago. We've been fighting this war now for 25 years, and they're just destroying our banks while we sit by and let them do it.
Oh, Lord, that was the greatest thing that ever happened for fishermen. We didn't need something like that 700 years ago, before slavery. So I gotta give it to the government. They did something for the fishermen.
These Bahamian fishermen say the presence of foreign fishermen has caused a decline in marine life in Bahamian waters. Simonet says it has made for tough days on the seas.
We have 22 in crew, so that's basically 22 families that go out to sea with us. So it's a little hard sometimes. We've been out there and met them, all about through your traps and your traps empty and all of that. But hey, what you could do.
But not all Bahamian fishermen support the fisheries bill. 6 Bahamian fishing companies have threatened legal action against the government, saying they ought to have been consulted. Some foreign fishermen and their Bahamian wives have also come forward, saying their livelihood will be affected if the men can't fish. Ronald LeBlanche is the owner of the fishing vessel Black Bahamian. He doesn't support the bill and wants government to change its position.
We asking the Prime Minister, we know he's a fair person, to undo this injustice that's being done to Bahamian owners and Bahamian in a whole and Bahamian women.
But on the other side of the fishing industry, there are no complaints. This lifelong fisherman says now is the time to introduce the industry to school-age students.
If we're eliminating Dominicans, then that means there's sufficient room to bring up some of our own people into it. And, you know, fishing is a difficult thing. It has to be sort of born into you to do. But who knows, you know, the same guy that's bussing tables at PI might be interested in making a career out of fishing.
Till the coming on news, the PLP getting set for majority rule celebrations, and the former Minister of Health says the Bahamas needs to be more prepared in the COVID-19 fight. Stay with us.
Happy Foods, Happy Foods, 242, 242, Happy Foods, 242, food galore just for you. Happy Food, 242, food galore just for you. This ain't no talking show, it's an eating show. Sasha Laurel is the host of Happy Foods, 242, food galore just for you. Happy Foods, 242, food galore.
Welcome back. The Progressive Liberal Party is all set for plans to recognize Majority Rule Day tomorrow. The holiday commemorates the gaining of majority rule in the Bahamas that took place on January 10, 1967, and was led by former Prime Minister Sir Lynden Pindling. The PLP will hold a special memorial ceremony tomorrow morning at 11 at the Mausoleum of Sir Lynden.
Talk about the history of majority rule and the importance and significance of it. We don't want to, as a party, that majority rule, that the whole essence of majority rule is lost in terms of what it's all about, in regards of it just being a holiday where a person just relax or go to the beach. Talk about the history, the movement from Burma Road Riot in 1942 and the general strike in 1958, and women being able to vote in 1962. So it turns about the way how we move forward and how we put it together.
Now at 10 a.m. there will be a special ecumenical service held by the government. Lightbourne says that social distancing is still the order of the day. The PLP's memorial ceremony at Sir Lynden's Mausoleum will be streamed live.
Yes, it also will be streamed virtually on our Facebook page, on our My PLP Facebook page, so persons can definitely tune in and be able to be a part of the ceremony.
Lightbourne says the event is not only for PLPs, but for all Bahamians, as he says majority rule was gained for all.
It's a holiday for all Bahamians because every Bahamian was entitled, no matter your gender, your race, your creed, your religious preference. This is what majority rule is all about. It was given an opportunity for every Bahamians to embark on what was their democratic right. And I think that's very important as we move forward, that it's not established or labeled as a Progressive Liberal Party holiday, but as a holiday for all Bahamians.
As the war against COVID-19 rages on, former Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands says it's important that the Bahamas learns from other countries and plan capacity build-outs. This, as the Elizabeth MP on Thursday said, a third wave of COVID-19 is inevitable.
It becomes critically important that we use the lesson of other countries, regionally and internationally, to plan capacity build-out. To acknowledge that even though we have been lucky that the time of relative moderate levels of COVID positive cases and hospitalizations is just the tip of the iceberg.
Dr. Sands added that he suspects that adjustments to international travel will continue. This, as he says, it seems as if a new mutation of COVID emerges every other week.
We now have emerging variants in Great Britain, in South Africa, in Nigeria, in Brazil, which are changing what we thought we knew about this COVID. It seems as if a new mutation is developing every other week. That is the rate of new mutations developing with COVID, roughly one new mutation every 14 days, give or take. And so what we thought we knew about COVID is now changing. And I suspect that these adjustments to international travel will continue.
When Our News comes back from the break, 35,000 travel visas were approved in December. Find out why that's good news.
Happy Foods, Happy Foods, 242, 242, Happy Foods, 242, food galore just for you. Happy Food, 242, food galore just for you. This ain't no talking show, it's an eating show. Sasha Laurel is the host of Happy Foods, 242, food galore just for you. Happy Foods, 242, food galore.
More than 30,000 travel visas were approved in the month of December, according to Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar. While the numbers were nowhere near 2019, de Aguilar said officials are encouraged by the positive review. Berthley McDermott tells us why.
Following a rather slow holiday season for the tourism industry, Minister Dionisio de Aguilar said the ministry approved 35,000 travel visas for foreigners in December. He added that in total, some 50,000 people entered the country last month.
Early indications are that about 35,000 foreign visitors came to the Bahamas in the month of December, which, as you can imagine, is significantly less than came to the country in December 2019. So of the persons that crossed the border, the balance of about another 15,000 were returning residents and citizens.
Data from the Nassau Airport Development Company revealed that total international departures for November decreased to 9,777 passengers compared to the 110,848 international departures recorded in 2019. De Aguilar said it was encouraging to hear positive reviews about the entry protocols.
It was very encouraging to hear foreign visitors who I happened to bump into and to chat to informally, and some of the hotel owners and operators, how well they felt our system was working, how we were able to turn those visa applications around in under 24 hours in most instances. And the fact that we had a rapid antigen test applied on day 5 made our foreign visitors feel safe.
During its reopening, Bahamar announced that all locals coming into the resort would acquire a negative COVID-19 antigen test. In fact, the resort decided to offer rapid antigen tests at the property for locals looking to dine in. De Aguilar admitted that this is an impediment to dining.
It's an impediment that you have to think about. Usually that afternoon around 4 o'clock, you decide, okay, I'm going to go out to dinner at a particular place. You call for a reservation. Even if they don't have a reservation, you turn up anyway, and they can squeeze you in. But now you have to get that rapid antigen test. So you have to do a little bit of planning, and a little bit of a thought has to go into the dining experience, where that was previously not required.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthley McDermott.
Police conducting traffic stops in Grand Bahama find out their message for motorists.
Hey Rev customer, did you know that you can change and add multiple credit or debit cards to your online payment? Simply log into my.rev.bs, sign into your My account, click Pay Now, then enter your card details, and click Save to File. It's that simple. We are committed to providing you with excellent, reliable service no matter what. Stay connected with Rev, anywhere, anytime.
Grand Bahama officers in the traffic division are gravely concerned about the amount of lives lost in traffic accidents. With the view to have no fatalities in 2021, they hit the streets to boost public awareness of traffic laws and urge people to slow down, as they say speed kills.
This is of grave concern to us, that we are losing too many persons to our streets. Within the last 5 fatalities, I think we have lost 5 young men, all under the age of 30 years of old. And so this morning, this is serious matter. And so we are out here not just for the pump and the pamperage and all that. Be here with serious business to say to our motoring public that we need you to slow down because speed kills.
Superintendent Jeremy Henfield said drivers should have their driver's licenses and car insurance handy for officers. The Northern Division has been doing speed checks and in 1 week found 300 people driving over the speed limit. Henfield said while some may think the checks are excessive, the fact of the matter is they're saving lives.
The checks that we are making will save lives. That's number one. It will save lives. Again, in the commissioner's brief that is soon to come, you will be able to hear just how many weapons that were taken off the streets, how many cases that were solved just through these same checks that we are having. People are complaining, but it works. It works. And so we just ask you to bear with us.
Thank you for joining us for Our News Tonight. To catch our news on the go, you can download the RevGo Play app. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Jared Higgs. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.